Hello friends, how are you? Welcome to the Japan Study Center. Today we are going to see the chapter of geography and what is our topic today? Cropping pattern. There is important here. Cropping pattern here. According to the cropping pattern, there is agricultural land is devoted to be different crop in a regions or state or country at a particular point of time is called the cropping pattern here. There is important cropping pattern. The cropping patterns of a regions and outcome of the long-term agriculture practice, a social custom and traditional physical condition and historical factor. There is an important point here. There is a first here is a cropping pattern. What do you mean to cropping pattern here? The agricultural land devoted to be different crop in a regions or state or country at a particular point of time is called cropping pattern. This is important here. The next year, the feature of changing of cropping pattern. There is an important point. Feature of changing crop pattern. The changing crop patterns in India as under first is dominance of food crop over to the non-food crop. Dominance of food crops over non-food crops here. In the time of independence, more than 75% of the total area sown in the country was devoted to the production of food crops. Gradually, when there is a commercialization of agriculture, farmers in India have started to shifting area to non-food crops. Now, the relative share of area under food crops has a decline from to 76.7 due to 1950 to 51 to 65.8 during to 1999 to 2000, and this trend to show when a commercialization of agriculture in India. That is important here. This trend to the show when commercialize of agriculture in India. The next year, variety of crops growing. There is important here, variety of crops growing. Almost every kind of crops are growing in India as it is endowed with a variety of soil. These crops can be grouped into a food crops, fiber crops, oil seed, and medicine plant and spices. Food crops are two types, generally here and the non-kernel. There is a kernel and non-kernel. There are mainly two types, kernel and there is a non-cereal. Among there is a careless rice, wheat, millet, and important and pulses is a common next, and there is a oil seed here. Similarly, a number of spicy and the medicinal plant are also cultivated throughout the country. Emphasis is placed known on production of the oil seed because a large amount of foreign exchange is spent on import of edible oil. A special attention is also given to the production of medicine plant, fruit, flower, and vegetables. The next year, dominance of kale among the food crops here. There is an important within the broad groups of food crops is kale like a wheat and rice dominant. About 2% of area under food crops has been to put to be cultivation of cereals. This is due to the better price, less risk and production and their ability of better seeds. There is important and the next year decline in our choruses cereals. Jowar, bajra, maize, milts, whereas the sector is called chorus are inferior cereals. The area under these crops to the total area under a careless crops has a decline a significant from to 48% in 1950 to 51 to about 29% in 2001, and this is due to spread of the irrigation facility, improved input and a shift of composition of pattern of the people. There is a most important here decline of courses of careless. The next year decline are important of kharif crop. There is important here. There are mainly three cropping season in India: kharif, rabi, and zaid. There is important three cropping season here three only: the kharif, rabi, and zaid. The kharif season is corresponded to the rainy season, and while the rabi season when there is a winter. You know that kharif is a season corresponding to the rainy season, and while the rabi season is the winter. The short period in between to the harvest of the rabi crops and the sowing to the kharif crop is called zaid season. Till the recently of Kharif crops has been to the contribute the large share of crop production in India. There is an important point here. But this dominance is one of decline. The share of the Kharif has a decline from to the 71% in the 1970s to the 49% in the 2003 and 2004. This make a significant change in the India is agricultural practice after the Green Revolution. And this change is important because it is would be a lesson to the uncertainty in the crops production. As the Rabi crops are more reliable than to the Kharif one. The Kharif crops are not reliable and because they are mostly dependent on the rainfall. The most part of India get a rainfall from a monsoon which is the variables. A contrary to this is a mostly Rabi crops in India are rice on irrigation which is the comparatively reasonable. That is important in this box. A climatic rainfall, temperature, humidity, soil size of form, ability for fertilizer, and good quality of seed. And the irrigation of facility and price are insensitive, and there is a factor which affect to the cropping pattern. There is the most important point here. The effect of cropping pattern here is a climate, rainfall, temperature, humidity, soil, size of form, ability of fertilizer, good quality of seed, irrigation facility, and price. And sensitivity other factor is important.